guys, it's Jen here at Check Her Joy, and this time I'm reviewing The Whoniverse by Lance Parkin, which is an unofficial planet-by-planet guide to the universe of Doctor Who from Gallifrey to Skaro. So this is a non-fiction, outside the show look at Doctor Who and the places in it. Specifically planets. Also kind of general, like here are galaxies and solar systems. And kind of just where everything is happening in this show. So it deals not only with classic and new Who, but the spin-offs, the books, the audio adventures, the comics, like pretty much anything that is Doctor Who related. It kind of gets woven into here and broken down. So to be fair on this book, I haven't actually finished the entire thing. I have read roughly about a third of it. I've kind of been skipping around. It's kind of dense, and so it's not like a sit down and read it for hours upon hours kind of book, but like, 20 minutes here, 20 minutes there. Like, that's kind of interesting, but like, I start to read too much of it at once, and my mind just kind of goes like, what is happening? I don't know. A look at how this book is set up. There are lots of graphics and infographics going on here. So it'll do like a planet by planet thing or like era by era because we're traveling through time and space. So like this is our modern human era on Earth. Here's our planet. That's what Earth looks like. Crazy, I know, right? More exciting when it's other planets. Do this while holding the book up. So like there's a brief overview of the planet, kind of a history of what's happening on that planet, how it relates to the show, behind the scenes stuff. There's fact files, and some of them also have like the timelines drawn out. Here is Ancient Mars with one of the timelines. And the fact files and timelines take information from all of Doctor Who. So like I said, comics, books, spin-offs, everything is in there. The things that I was more interested in was the planets and episodes that I had already seen or books that I had already read. And so I definitely paid attention to like skimming over these and looking at the timelines for episodes that I had seen. But it'll give you timelines about like this is, this one's the 5th Doctor's adventure. And just a brief history of what's happening in there. Some of these are kind of spoilery-ish. Like there was something in here that mentioned City of Death, and I was kind of like, that's sort of a spoiler to how that episode ends. Which I had seen it, so it's fine, but if I had not seen it and I knew that going into that episode, it wouldn't have the same impact. So just an FYI that there are things in here that are kind of spoilery, but they're also labeled, so you could be like me and not read the episodes that you haven't watched. That's an option. Really liked learning about Gallifrey and having everything that we know about Gallifrey laid out. Since it's like the Doctor's home planet, and it's one of the big mysteries of the show is like, where did the Doctor come from? Like the show, I have not been reading this chronologically. I've kind of just been picking out pages that interest me and reading them. Also, it's kind of a big book, so it's not like a carry in my backpack kind of thing. It's more of a sit at home in the nice armchair where I can lay it across my lap and peruse it that way. So this one's pretty much in the middle for me as far as Doctor Who books go. It's not really, like, you can't compare it to the novels. I'm trying to compare it to, like, the other Doctor Who books about the show that I have. It definitely goes a lot more in-depth and a lot more comprehensive than, say, like... So if you guys want to know what I'm comparing it to, I have, like, The Companions by David J. Howe and Mark Stammers, which are, like, a lot more accessible to everybody. To like the Doctor Who Encyclopedia by Gary Russell, where this was completely invaluable to me. Like this book was incredibly valuable to me while I was first watching the show and didn't know what was happening, and I'm watching these episodes and I'm like, who is that character? Am I supposed to know who that character is? Am I supposed to know what happened? So I was reading this like as soon as it came out and was like, I need to know about these things. So comparing it to like these books, which are totally fine, not a huge amount of spoilers going on here. These are definitely more just about the show, more introductory levels. This is the character encyclopedia from BBC. no author printed on the cover. Written by Jason Laborick, Annabelle Gibson, and Moray Lang, if you're wondering. So these are a lot more, I haven't watched a lot of Doctor Who accessibleness. This one's, the Whoniverse, is a lot more, I've been watching the show for a while and I want to know more about stuff. I wouldn't necessarily start with this if you've never watched Doctor Who before, is what I'm saying. But if you are a Whovian like me and you know the basics of the show at least, this is a lot of fun and interesting. The other kind of nonfiction Doctor Who book that I'm going to talk about real quickly is a history, an unauthorized history of the Doctor Who universe by Lance Parkin and Lars Pearson. This one I got at the library, and I was expecting something like this one with lots of pictures and kind of short explanations. And this one does have those short explanations, but it really is everything that happens in Doctor Who put in chronological order. It's kind of a cool thing that exists, but it's also ginormous and kind of intimidating. So I really haven't read much of this book, but if you guys are wondering, this exists, and if you are a massive Whovian and want to know, like, I kind of do want to know this stuff, but it's also, like, this one freaks me out a little bit, honestly. This is, like, pushing my limit. So if you want to know where all the episodes of Doctor Who, and this one does include, like, I saw a section for the Sarah Jane Adventures, and, like, so the spin-offs are in here, too, like, how they all fit into the Whoniverse and what's happening chronologically. All the original Doctor Who novels and novellas up through The Silent Stars Go By, all the Big Finish audios up through the Army of Death, the IDW and Doctor Who magazine comics up through the Children of Time. Holy snaps, like, they did their research on this one. So if that's a thing that interests you, go check this out. I am definitely not thinking this is a book for somebody who is new to Doctor Who or never seen it at all. And honestly, I think I'm going to return this to the library not having really read much of it at all. So I really did enjoy the Whoniverse, and you guys should check this one out. It's amazing. I have lukewarm feelings about the other one. So my plugginess is that I read these books because there is going to be an author talk at my job at the Coventry Library in Cleveland Heights, Ohio, on October 5th, which is this coming Wednesday at 7 p.m. I will post the link to the page downstairs. Oh my goodness. I will post the link to the event page down in the description if you guys want to check that out. And I will be there, so if you guys want to say hi to me. I also reviewed the novel, The Eyeless, which is also by Lance Parkin, and I will put that link in the description below as well. This one is definitely a lot more accessible to people who don't know a whole lot about Doctor Who. So there's my plugginess stuff. Anyway, peace out. I love you guys, and keep reading. Bye.